And that we all know that, wait a second, our aura is actually real. Fizz, I know you have been talking about this for a while. You've given us some of your cosmology, and since you're our particular cosmological beast correspondent, you might have something to say about this.
I know I should be wary. Still I venture someplace scary. Ghostly haunting, I turn loose.
Alrighty then. After interrupting my co-host for the umpteenth time, hey guys, what's going on? Memes here. So what exactly the heck am I talking about here? Well, what I am talking about is something I had seen going around that I just assumed was clickbait because, well, it's the internet. Nobody would ever post clickbait on the internet. So let's go to our expertly engineered thumbnail that I stole from New Scientist on Twitter. Apparently, our bodies emit streams of low-energy photons, and now experiments in mice have revealed that this ghostly goal is cut off when we die.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Fizz there, as I assumed you would say, told ya.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so my professional opinion on this is told you so, told you so. Don't say I didn't tell you so, because I told you so, told you so.
Okay, so now that we've covered that, now again, my first look at this, when I saw that, I'm like, well, duh! We have anything that's warm is gonna be emitting photons and stuff because of blah, 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 thermodynamics and stuff like that. Okay, basically, you rub your hands together. Oh my god, it gets warm. There's gonna be a little bit of glow from my photons. Now, apparently they're developing infrared contact lenses, so people might actually be able to develop some form of night vision contacts that apparently actually don't need a source. But that's not what we're talking about here. Apparently, rather than the infrared standard heat, there's a very particular ultraviolet. So basically your standard visible light stuff that we have that ceases when you are no longer alive.
Yeah, some cultures call that a soul.
Now, it again, I try to be very sciencey, but you see things like this, and you're like, huh? And then occasionally you'll see like what happens when like an egg gets fertilized, and all of a sudden it emits like a burst of light, and you're like, huh? I don't know what to think about that, but apparently these are things that happen. So, Liz, go on.
I mean, human scientists, they want the how more than the what, I guess. So, and that makes sense because humans need to break things down. They can't recreate it without knowing how it works. And me just saying this happens isn't quite telling you how it works.
Do
humans,
you know how it works?
They mess around and they're scientists. They get down in the nitty-gritty on a molecular level to figure out exactly how it works. Whereas in the celestial realm, we're just kind of like, it just does. Like,
because it can.
Yeah, I don't think that far down, but we're also manipulating this molecules and these photons and blah blah. We're manipulating them on a much more interesting level than humans are because we can. We don't think about the how that much. Humans need the how because they are physical. Like everything is physical. They need to physically know how if they want to be able to do that.
So does it come down to the whole let's get physical?
I mean, if you want to put it that way, you're mortals. Like, okay, you're not pure. You're driving meat suits. Currently, I'm driving a meat suit, and oh my gosh, are these things like inefficient as hell? Holy crap, they're messy. They are so crude.
Well, I mean, I would beg to differ. It's like I can eat a sandwich and do stuff and things. The sheer fact that I can input sandwich, I go do some stuff and things, and then eventually, well, we all know everybody poops, so these things happen. So what goes in must come out, and whether it's in the form of energy or excrement, never a miscommunication, unless you miss.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in the celestial realm, that's not how the beings feel themselves. That's why I'm saying this is crude. Like, it's crude. It works. It works. It's just like, you know, you guys got to use your cars in order to go faster. It's crude.
We gotta feed the cars. We gotta input, and then they output some stuff. It's basically CO2 poop gas. But I mean, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly believe though humans are going to get there, and it's going to look like not robotics, but just everybody. You guys are just gonna live basically inside the internet.
Okay.
It's gonna be weird.
All I know, well, to be fair, I mean, that would be a fairly efficient solution to the Fermi paradox. The Fermi paradox is the whole, it's like, where is everybody else? Where are all the aliens? It's like, oh, if we're here. And then it's like, okay, maybe there's not a whole bunch of planets that we've seen that are conducive to life, but like, if you got billions and billions of star systems out there, it's like, statistically, you're probably gonna have some more. Where might they all be? Now, perhaps the easiest way to do this is the standard Borg way. You go out there and you just keep assimilating, conquering, yada, yada, yada. You could do that because now you're going for all these resources. Then again, it's like, okay, you could do that. You could undergo the journey, exploring and colonizing the galaxy. Or, for a fraction of the energy cost, y'all could just put yourself into the internet, and it would cost a lot less to maintain humanity. And I don't know, do all roads point towards the Matrix?
It kind of looks like that because the main thing is you guys need containers for your energy in order to use it, and I think that's what's holding mortals back. But that's what makes mortals mortals is they need a container for their energy. They can't on their own just be a solid form of energy. And therefore changing forms whenever you want, which is pretty cute. The closest I could think that you guys would get using, 100% your own tools and stuff would be your energy still being stored somewhere, but where you are, it'll look like the celestial realm. It'll act like the celestial realm. Your physical body is your data. You are energy still. You're an individual bit of energy that can manipulate yourself within the confines of... See, you guys are still stuck in confines. That's the problem. But the confines of, a machine still.
A meaty machine. And, well, then again, it's...
ultimately, you guys would still be within the confines of a machine, but you would be able to manipulate your own energy to the point where it's going to be pretty awesome.
Huh. Okay, so what we have here at least from our initial look from New Scientist, take that for what you would, all living things emit an eerie glow that is snuffed out upon death.
Wow, why'd they have to use those words? Eerie, snuff? Jeez.
Well, because New Scientist. They do make things fun, and occasionally, yes, okay. Nobody's ever posted clickbait on the internet. Now, at least for New Scientists, they'll say those things, and they can kind of at least justify them there. As we can see here.
They're still just trying to... they're not categorically writing this stuff going... Hey, findings about this.
Well, actually,
they're still trying to, they need to get people to actually want to read this stuff. So they tell you it's creepy.
Well, it's kind of like, I think it was, shout out to Floathead Physics, but he had posted something on YouTube where it's like, all right, title, scientists finally achieved Newton's goal of turning lead into gold. And you're like, whoa, that's crazy. You get into the article, it's like, scientists created 27 nanograms of gold for like 5 milliseconds before it evaporated. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
It took a ginormous particle collider, so that would be the most expensive gold ever.
Yeah, gold price is gonna go back up
Yeah. Well, ultimately, yeah, it's
like crazy. It'll be the artificial gold.
well, see, that's the thing. If all of a sudden it's like, if you can just create gold very easily, it's all of a sudden, guess what? Price of gold goes because it's no longer really rare.
I don't know. There's lab-created diamonds, and people are still paid out the wazoo for diamonds.
To be fair, that's I've heard at least from random folks that are probably totally not making money on the D-Lo from saying, they're like, buy artificial diamonds, buy them at the half-carat things, and then sell them in your wedding or engagement bands, blah, blah, blah. And yes, I see all those things. And I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense. But I'm like, all right, so if everybody does that, guess what? The price is still going to go down then. So
Right? Like, the Piper's got a ring that's like lab-created ruby, and stuff. On a molecular level, this thing is no different from the ones that got dug out of the ground and all that good stuff. Something about having to mine them makes their value way. And I get it, because if you go to a garage, like a mechanic, right? There's the parts, but then there's the labor. So
Yep.
apparently that's some expensive ass labor, but you humans that are actually doing the labor don't seem to get to see much of that.
well, I mean, occasionally we'll hire, or some people will utilize children to mine diamonds because they can fit in the small areas. So, I mean, that's a moral issue and everything there. But yes, there is labor involved, and I think that's why they call them blood diamonds and stuff.
Yeah, the extra money, the extra cost for the end, recipient, the customer, technically, like, the only thing that makes that diamond different is the labor it took to dig it out, because nature did it instead of, some humans setting the conditions, the exact same conditions needed to do it, but in a controlled setting. That makes the price difference way huge, and yet the actual person doing the labor doesn't see that difference in payment, unlike a mechanic.
Yeah, okay. I have my own gripes with perhaps certain mechanics for different reasons and stuff like that, because my car is currently dead again. But that's another story and gripe for stuff. My car is currently in around Des Moines, Iowa, and I am in Utah. For those of you that don't know, that they're not near each other. Well, they're near enough in relative span of the world, but yes, several large states away. I'm going to have to grab a plane ticket to go back and get it once it's fixed.
I highly recommend you humans buy the parts yourself and YouTube.
Yeah. And with that, welcome, K-Shell. Good to see you, as well as we have the mighty, mighty Lug. And Lug is saying, means, my bro, how are we? Well, we're doing pretty dandy on this, a wee bit tired, but we are still doing the thing, as well as the beautiful Celestial Rose. Fizz is looking superb.
For once, my resting smug face is appropriate for this stream.
Exactly. Well, Fizz apparently was right. And I'm saying that, and I put the question mark, and I put the Z on Realz, because even shout out to Antron Petrov. He's one of the science YouTubers that you're going to find typically fairly accurate science. He says something. He literally starts off. He's like, "This is not about auras." Okay. But one of the first comments I see is, "The aura bros are going to go nuts."
Aura
So we're
bros.
yes.
Well, yeah, because that's what they're gonna call it, because everybody's gonna call it something different. But when people are saying aura, that's essentially that's it, right? That's right there, the scientific what they are talking about when they say that.
Well,
But
they're
yeah,
talking about like
they're just
a
still gonna go.
bioenergy or something like that, and well, photons are basically energy, and these things are literally called biophotons.
Yeah, biophot, but see, like, yeah, but in other terms, many call that aura, and they usually say that aura is, a spirit or soul, depending on what book you're looking at, and it is all what you now call, like, what you're calling biophotons. That's what that is, and this is your fancy word for it, your fancy smart people word for it now is biophotons, but it's the same thing.
It's it's very
Unromanticized. It's the same thing, but unromanticized.
Unromanticized. I like that. I don't think I've ever heard the term unromanticized. That seems appropriate. But and again, welcome to Sandro. Thank you for joining, as well as we have 6. Yes. Nebraska and Wyoming are. All I know is, at least I broke down just outside a major state capital that happened to have a Ford dealership and an international airport.
Oh, nice.
Because I kind of needed to get where I was going because plans with brother, yada yada. Okay, a lot of chaos, but yeah. Well, so hopefully we'll get squared away. Otherwise, that's what the court system is for. So I digress. Okay, so biophotons. What the heck is a biophoton? Oh my God! Hold on, massive thing of text. Let's make it a little bit easier.
Oh goodness,
All right. Yes, this is a lot of words. Okay, so I'll go read through some of this real quick. So, biophotons from the Greek bios, meaning life, and phi something omega
and
hat,
that
blah, blah,
thingy.
meaning light.
Meaning
All
light.
right. And speaking of light and getting the
Exactly,
party
the light.
started, yes. Welcome, Rick.
Hey, what's going on? Hey-o! Rick Week is
this
in
is-
full effect. I really can't stay long, but I understand you guys were talking about some interesting series of scientific discussions, possibly even a little pseudoscience. That quantum, embracing or whatever. It's
Oh, we're
something
talking
totally
about
right.
auras and stuff, Rick. We're literally talking about biophotons, because as we know from...
biophotons, yeah, 'cause
Biophotons,
bioluminescence
yo.
is a thing. That's right, bioluminescence, baby. All right.
We were just covering a little bit of the paywalled article from New Scientist. Our bodies emit a stream of low-energy photons, and now experiments in mice have revealed that this ghostly glow is cut off when we die. And of course, Fizz is like, told ya.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, the thing is,
You dead. You ain't in that meat suit no more, man. You don't need it no more.
well,
You're broken.
we call it orgone energy. The energy of life itself, like life itself, Morty. Some people, they're kind of better off without it. but I digress. No, orgone energy is a thing. It's been talked about a while. It's usually a pseudoscience thing more than the real thing, but
So as just for a disclaimer, the memes of destruction does not discount life. Yada yada, insert disclaimer here.
The more you know. Mm-hmm. The Memes of Destruction channel does not usually align their opinions with their guests who are responsible for saying whatever the fuck they want to say, because, I'm Rick. Fuck off.
I associate with a lot of
You,
terrible people, myself included.
Are you okay, Rick? You've been very not Rick-like tonight.
What?
You
what?
okay, bud?
What do you mean not Rick-like? What the fuck you talking about?
You sound like way too coherent.
I was about to say the same thing.
That you want to know why? The want to know why is because I'm going to be less coherent on my show here in about 15 minutes, baby.
I was
All right.
gonna say, Rick, you need to hurry
Every
up and
$5
pregame.
super is a super shot. As long as you hashtag super shot in that $5 super, I will be having myself a little drinky poo. Really get into the method acting.
You'll sound more like Rick as the night goes.
I see how it begins. Yes, Gabrielle, welcome to the dumpster fire that is breaking the multiverse. Our Thursday satirical show where we get...
Breaking the multiverse, like literally every IP in the universe. We get it, Marvel. We get it, Star Wars. You want to be us. But newsflash, motherfucker, you ain't us, all right? Stop trying to be Rick and Morty. 100 years, Morty. Oh, jeez. There he is.
Yep,
Morty, everybody.
Morty sounds on brand.
Okay, well, at least we got Morty to try to ground us as Uncle Rick will take us into God knows how many
Rick is an uncle? I'm your daddy's uncle.
See, I never understood that whole second cousin thing. It's like, if I'm related to you, I'm 20 years older, you can just call me your uncle.
There's that one song, I'm my own grandpa.
I was gonna say the twice removed thing that you guys like bring up. I'm like, did somebody go and just prune the family tree and like just snip that off? Is that what you snipped it off twice?
We might want to be careful. That might be like a clone. It's like, all right, we've snipped it off. We're just gonna plant it in some
cloning. Hey, how do we counter death, guys? Yeah, we really like this character. How can we have a dramatic death scene and then ruin it? Well, we got time travel, we got clones, multiverse, we got all this crap.
Oh, we got time rings from Dragon Ball and stuff. Because every time Trunks does something, he breaks another thing, creates Goku Black, yada yada.
Oh, jeez, everybody wants to be us, yo. It's real. It's a real fact.
Hey, Sandra,
it's crazy too, considering some of the stuff you mentioned was before you.
Shh. We listen. If we're gonna invoke the multiverse and time travel,
stupid. Don't make me prove it by going back there and changing that fact, yo.
Oh dear God! Oh God, we've released the guinea pigs.
We got the guinea pigs in the house.
Oh my God! Welcome,
they're
Tommy.
speaking to your mind. You pissed them off, Morty. We're gonna have to totally bail.
But
before we do, I just want to let everybody know that don't touch that dial right here. You're right here. Don't go anywhere, but I am going to go ahead and present a commercial for my show. Why? Because plugging is for amateurs. Hey-o!
All right,
let's give me 1 second. 1 second. No.
Oh, okay. Oh, you say you got the commercial and everything. Okay.
Oh, jeez. Will you just stop rushing him? He's a bit drunk. Fuck off, Morty.
But we won't be going hungry if we do this. That's for sure.
Dude, my hat has made over $10 tonight.
I guess I'm gonna have to wear a cowboy hat on here with you next time too.
Howdy.
Here you go. It should be loading now.
Okay. Yeah, right.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
It's actually presented on the screen right there.
Oh, he's fancy and
That's
everything.
some crazy stuff, yo.
Full screen it. Oh yeah, I like this part.
Hi, this is Alf here, and I thought we were going to be talking about.
God, she's hot. She's totally mine too. So
That's
fuck
right, a
off.
commercial.
That's right.
A commercial.
Oh,
Hi, this is
Ginger.
Hi.
She's our resident Black Widow over the Stark and Wire channel, where you'll find parodies, songwriting, voice acting, puppeteering, and a heck of a lot more. Maybe a little pole work, maybe a little fire eating. Maybe just a little bit. Just a wee bit.
Just like enough to add like a little spice to the pot.
A little spice to the pot. How do you like your chili? Do you like your chili hot?
And the link is in the private chat. Hopefully you can share it on your thing
so
or whatever.
Goddamn hot you can cook a hog's ass with a spoonful.
So you mean like
Links are on the screen,
yeah,
yo.
just like
Fancy.
that great ginger wolf thing. That's right. So check out the Stark of Iron channel, where Snowed Up wanted a commercial.
Rick, oh my God.
Yeah.
We're totally cutting the last bit.
Hey, wait a minute, Rick. I thought this was a commercial. What's going on? I mean,
Don't worry about it. Let's just see where this goes. Oh my God! It's still the commercial.
What can I say? We're professionals. Heyo! Get you some Taco Bell on the way out.
Ooh, not so fries.
Oh no.
I like those chicken nuggets from Taco Bell. They're really good, yo. Yeah, they're amazing, aren't they? Really good stuff. And the like. And now everybody's turned into a ghost.
Oh God, where are we? Hold on.
Their bioluminescent auras have disappeared.
Oh my god, you pulled it down, but it's still presenting.
It's biophotons.
How do I Oh, wait, hold on. There we go. I swear I can learn to do these stuffing things.
Not so fast.
Oh, you triggered
All
the
right,
face.
so whenever memes wraps up, be sure to rate the show that I'm taking over from that Mr. Stark feller. We're gonna get riggedy Rick, son. Wubba lubba dub dub. Where's my fucking portal gun? It's right here, Rick. Shut up. I need my portal gun. We need to stop liquor store, Morty. Oh man. Oh jeez.
Well, that was something.
Did they not bring nacho fries? They were just.
I think he was insinuating the bell was to ring the bell thingy without saying ringing the bell, and the whole, it's like, you know how folks, again, I realize even Fat Steven was to the point where it's like, I told him, like, at some point that whole like, comment, subscribe thing, I'm like, I'm just gonna clip a whole bunch of YouTubers from all over different communities that say that and put it to like that Reich March where it's like whatever the little fascist like World War II Yahtzee marches and everything, and be like, comment, subscribe, because I know it works. I don't do it because it annoys me. It's kind of like Head On. I understand it's supposed to get rid of headaches. Those commercials annoyed me so damn much. I was in a Walgreens, had a headache, have a Head-On display, literally for sale right in front of me, and I'm like, I will suffer because I am not going to give those people money because they annoyed me. I feel like that's self-mastication.
Me and Piper, dude. If a commercial annoys us enough, we will avoid the product on that basis alone.
Listen, all they needed was like 5 less head-ons applied directly to the forehead. You do it 3, 4, even 5 times. When you're saying it 12 frickin' times. No, I'm sorry. I'm
Especially
done.
when it sounds like a condition, like, getting a head-on, it can be embarrassing, I think.
Wait, what?
The head-on.
Oh, you mean the thingy?
Well, I mean the condition. Like, it's an unfortunate name.
Oh. No, I see. I thought it was for headaches, so that's why they call it head-on, because you apply. I remember the thing, apply directly to the forehead. See, the thing is, if you had done something like the Men's Warehouse dude, it's like, you're going to like the way you look. I guarantee it. It's like, okay, maybe I won't like the way I look, but I at least remember it. So if it's like suits, oh yeah, Men's Warehouse, whatever. Oh God.
Szechuan sauce. Yeah, that was fun.
I've never watched Rick and Morty. There was something about Szechuan sauce a while back, but that's all I know about. What?
That stuff happened before I ever watched any Rick and Morty. It's probably why I got curious enough to watch Rick and Morty. McDonald's brought Szechuan sauce back briefly as a Rick and Morty thing.
Really?
Because there's a whole episode dedicated to them, like, time traveling so they can load up on Szechuan sauce.
Okay, now you can... Okay, hypothetically, if we're going to be breaking the multiverse and we're just going to bend the rules of reality to our whim and time travel and stuff like that, aren't there a lot easier ways than having to go really far back in time to get Szechuan sauce? I'm just thinking, but then again,
it was a limited time sauce that a lot of people loved the crap out of. McDonald's never did again because it was like a Mulan promo thing. Mulan movie tie-in tie-in sauce called Szechuan sauce, and people loved it. And no lie, once the promo was over, people were selling these little packets on eBay and stuff.
Well, why? Because they can. So what they're saying is, after doing the Mulan thing, which is, as far as I understand, basically an Asian-style piece, and you could associate that with Szechuan sauce. Now, the question is, did they actually do the Rick and Morty thing first, and then McDonald's did the Szechuan sauce, or did McDonald's want the Szechuan sauce back and Mick and Morty did the episode based upon that? See, that's my question. Which came first, the promo or the episode? Because I'm just looking at this and it's like, okay.
Well, I know the
Szechuan
original
sauce.
promo. The original promo came first because that was like in 1998 or some shit.
If you haven't watched the episode, McDonald's actually made a special for Rick and Morty where they launched the Szechuan sauce. Wait a sec. Was the episode literally about bringing back the Szechuan sauce? Because that's okay.
I like that shirt, straight out of nugget sauce. I like that. Yeah, that's why there's Rick and Morty sauce. So it was first, Szechuan sauce was first brought out way back when the first Mulan movie, the cartoon, hit theaters. Is
That
when
was a long
McDonald's
time
released.
ago.
McDonald's had the Szechuan sauce. Yeah, a long time ago. And everybody loved it. Well, pretty much everybody. It was very loved. How about that? It was very loved. It was highly desired, but it was temporary. So when the promo ended, the sauce ceased to exist. Other than some people clinging to some and selling it on eBay for a lot of money because y'all humans is crazy. Then
Listen, no, I'm a masshole born and raised, and if there's something that Americans take pride in, it's our sauces. Now, some of our food may not always be the greatest. Now, personally, I'm very biased. I love a good American burger. Yes, I understand it probably came from some other places and stuff like that. I do like American cuisine. But sauces we take seriously, because at one point, what was it? One of the local radio hosts from when I was growing up, when one of the gubernatorial candidates actually got elected, he appointed Greg Hill as the czar of sauce of Massachusetts.
now that's the first time I've learned that is a thing.
Well, to be fair, all it really was, it meant that occasionally they had the governor on once every month or two, chat for a few minutes, and while he was usually eating things. Something like that. It really wasn't. It's one of those ceremonial things. It was a romanticized thing about sauce. But yes, in America, we take our sauces seriously. You ever go to Texas to a barbecue contest or something? Ooh, people taking, you dissing somebody's sauce. Those are probably fighting words.
Oh.
I
should not have landed in America because
What?
I firmly believe that if you're good at cooking whatever it is you're cooking, it doesn't need sauce.
Really?
Unless the sauce is actually part of the meal. But if it's especially you mentioned Texas, if I don't like my steak without some steak sauce on it, that means you suck at making steak.
Fizz, you've made your point, but I'm going to raise you nacho fries.
Nacho fries are good even without the cheese sauce. But cheese sauce is a part of what makes nachos nachos. That's pretty much the main thing.
You caught me. Yes, you specified it for this part of the thing. I tried to pull one over you, and you got me.
Yeah, well, and like I said, those taste good even when I run out of the sauce, which is good because I run out of the sauce halfway through because I'm sticking my tongue in there. But well, the Rick and Morty episode aired, whenever the hell it aired, years and years after the Szechuan sauce Mulan promo. It was a joke.
Yes. How a Rick and Morty joke led to a McDonald's Szechuan sauce controversy.
I didn't know there was a controversy, but so they made an episode about going back in time to that Mulan, animated Mulan.
Oh, they went back in time to when McDonald's had the sauce to stock up on the sauce, and then they in turn brought back the sauce.
Yeah. The episode was them going back in time, way back to that promo. To get them some sauce.
Wait a second, 1998? Yeah, that's around when Mulan came out.
This
is 20 years later. This was 2018. Talk about some deep lore.
Yeah, no, I was guessing when that came out. I nailed it. I am gonna go buy some lotto tickets.
Okay, so apparently in 1990, as a promotional time for the Disney animated film Mulan, Disney expanded its line of chicken McNugget dipping sauces with Szechuan sauce. The film takes place in China during the Han Dynasty. Fast food chain soon retired the sauce, and seemingly everyone forgot about it existed, except for the writers of Rick and Morty, who included an offhand joke about Rich searching for Szechuan sauce in the premiere of the show's third season. McDonald's later drew the ire of a portion of Rick and Morty's incredibly passionate fan base when it revived Szechuan sauce for a one-day promotion last week.
Oh, it was...
But only in limited quantities at certain locations. Fans who missed out on the pop culture phenomena turned on McDonald's employees, and the company quickly apologized and pledged to bring back the sauce for everyone this winter. You can follow the developments of the Szechuan sauce fiasco in our story stream below. McDonald's shipped $20 million Szechuan sauce packets this month. I feel like I may have had that before. I feel like it was pretty good.
Because of a Rick and Morty joke, they brought back Szechuan sauce briefly with Rick and Morty printed on the thing instead of, Mulan stuff. And yeah, people were limited to how many that they could get from the McDonald's. It wasn't one of them. It's just a bucket of it out front with the straws, and you just grab some. Yep, disaster.
eBay sellers are coming up with creative ways to get in the.
That's and then it started. That sauce started going up on eBay.
Wow. Okay, and then there's a whole bunch of other nonsensical speeches about sexual. Wow. Okay, so we went from.
So Aura.
Yes. Oh yes, Aura. Yes, the Rick Aura apparently helped resurrect Szechuan sauce. Wow, that was some really deep lore.
Yeah, and that's how I ended up I already heard of Rick and Morty. I just Piper and I just really didn't care about cable very much. We want to watch something, find it ourselves and stuff. We weren't really worried about Rick and Morty. And then that fiasco happened, and it was so freaking funny to both of us that we finally decided to go and binge Rick and Morty.
To be fair, we'd started watching some Rick and Morty here, and then we got up to whatever the episode was that Mr. Whatever that started making the high squeaky sounds, and then we just not big fans of squeaky. So I actually probably need to go back and finish actually watching Rick and Morty now after this, because it's
Mr. that had a squeaky voice.
It's like Mr. Me or Mr. Mime, or it's like a Mr. Mime guy, but he would. I forget.
The little blue dudes.
I feel so. Yeah, I think Tommy's agreeing with you about steaks and stuff like that.
And that's most food, if sauce isn't already a part of the meal, if sauce is an extra that you go and choose and add to it, that to me is telling the cook, man, you sucked at this, but don't worry, I got sauce, it'll save it.
I'm realizing this Polygon thing has multiple articles about the sauce.
Yeah, it was a big
2017.
It was great.
Wow. But I sit back, I'm like, wait, hold on. It's a fiasco. Now, again, you don't go around, you harass people for just random BS thing, especially if they're not involved in anything like that. I mean,
that part is ridiculous.
But if you want to start an online petition and stuff, and if you happen to be persistent and maybe not grossly offensive, kind of like the whole, release the Snyder Cut. People asked a bunch, and eventually you got Zack Snyder's Justice League and everything like that. As well as, personally, I'm going to have to give a shout out to, I think, Dion It on Twitter, because after going on 2 years of asking Capcom to re-release the Breath of Fire series, eventually at 22,000 fans voted on GOG.com, and they actually released Breath of Fire 4.
Yeah.
So now you can download it. It's like $10. I downloaded it, even though they only have the Windows thingy right now, and I have a Mac. but apparently there's an emulator I can get to actually run it, and they have step-by-step guides. So I'm like, you know, I love this franchise because, well, duh, dragons. But I'm like, okay, hey, $10, I'll throw down for that. And like, wait, I just need to find the right emulator and some time, and I can actually play one of my favorite games. Groovy. So I mean, it's persistence can help, and also maybe if you don't have a whole bunch of folks like screaming at each other on the internet, and people like, well, that's just a dumpster fire to avoid. If you have thousands and thousands of people saying this is a cool thing, and people actually start to support it, it's like, oh my God, maybe it could be a thing. Just an opinion. I've actually never even watched Mulan earlier. I realize, and it has a dragon in it, and he's adorable, and Eddie Murphy. So I'm like, I like all those things, and I still have. I really stopped watching like a lot of like Disney like young folks movies after I think like the second Shrek. I think
that was the last like animated one that if I ever went to the theater to see. It was the last one that had a decent animal sidekick friends.
Yeah, I mean,
after that, nah, it's all downhill from there. All the animal sidekicks suck.
Yeah, I mean that's a matter of opinion, but then again, I mean, oh my God, wait, Eddie Murphy was in that too.
Yeah.
Does he just play?
Yeah,
well,
but
even
Shrek isn't.
in Beverly Hills Cop. Well, he was the star
Shrek,
in that. So
Shrek
yeah.
is Shrek. Don't count as a Disney cartoony thing for kids. Shrek is definitely for slightly older kids.
Okay, fair play, fair. Okay. Well, Shrek was a little bit more overt about that. I don't know. Was Shrek peak Disney animation aside from like the classical stuff?
Well, Shrek wasn't Disney. It was DreamWorks. It wasn't, but it wasn't Disney.
Oh, now was it DreamWorks Pixar? Was that the thing?
No, I think.
Is that why it was good?
Oh wait, no. Is it just Pixar that works with Disney? DreamWorks, who's DreamWorks work with?
It's something conglomerates, corporations in the skies. Shout out to Tommy. He talks about.
Yeah, but I do think it was DreamWorks, but I don't think it was. I don't think Disney has.
Let's go to the official source of obviously truth on the internet, Wikipedia.
Because Shrek is, like actually funny, so I don't think Disney had anything to do with it.
Okay, DreamWorks. You were right. Yeah, it was DreamWorks,
Animation.
Okay.
Distributed through DreamWorks Pictures. Yeah.
Okay, so now is.
Yeah, that was just DreamWorks.
Who owns DreamWorks
on their
now?
own.
Oh, NBC. All right, so NBC bought it.
Oh, I bought it.
So if NBC bought it, that means it's now technically owned by Comcast. Because Comcast bought NBC. I remember. Hey, all I know is I happened to work for them at the time, and after they bought NBC Universal, it was like, here's like 5 passes to like NBC Universal. It's like, okay, I don't live in Florida, so it's not doing me any good right now, but they did offer it.
Oh, that's nice of them at least.
Yeah, I mean, they did pay me a bunch of money for like signing people up for cable, and I'm not saying that they paid me like far more money than I'm like, wait, you're paying me this much money to do this job? Now, it was a pain in the butt job, but
I bet.
But it did. Yeah, I mean, I did pretty well there. So it's might not always agree with what a company does, but as long as they take care of their people, it's like, okay. It's when you start treating certain customers not necessarily well, and if you're not treating your people well, yeah, your company's probably not necessarily going to do all that great. That's, again, depends on the situation, and I understand. Running a business is hard. Anybody that's done management before, it's like, okay, listen, you can be an employee and have all your problems. Or you could be a boss, make a bit more money, deal with all your own problems, all your employees' problems, and all your customers' problems. That's ultimately why I went to sales, because it's like, all right, I got to be a manager at a CVS and deal with all those problems, or get paid a bunch more money, still dealing with problems, but at least less people's problems, usually. So that was a former life ago, and now I'm like a monk at a monastery, so.
The biophotons!
Oh, yes. Yes. Where were we?
We were reading something, weren't we?
Oh, yeah. Okay, we should probably actually finish what we were talking. We were talking about totally real auras and stuff. Okay. I'm not... Okay, it's not auras that I know of. Now, Fizz might disagree. Perhaps it's some of the terminology, but... Biophotons are photons of light in the ultraviolet and visible light range that are produced by a biological system, aka a meat suit. They are non-thermal in origin. Okay, see, this is the thing why I just thought it was clickbait, because it's like, living creatures emit light. It's like, well, duh, if you're alive and you're going to be generating some heat, it's going to be like that infrared, because heat is the infrared, because you turn on the oven and everything is going to start to glow and all that jazz. All right, they are non-thermal in origin, and the emission of biophotons is technically a type of bioluminescence. Ooh, that's when, like a firefly.
Yeah, mega aura.
Mega bugs. Is that why fireflies give you like extra hearts in like Zelda? Or is that fairies?
I thought it was fairies.
Are fairies fireflies?
No.
Okay. Though the term bioluminescence generally refers to higher luminescence systems, typically with emitted light visible to the naked eye, using biochemical means such as Lucifer. What?
Ooh.
Oh dear God! What is this? It seems like what the? Hold on, I need to adjust it.
Oops.
Oh, and now you know. Luciferin is a generic term for the light-emitted compound found in organisms that generate bioluminescence. Luciferins typically undergo an enzyme catalytic. Okay, so something molecule is light, and then these are.
It just has an unfortunate name.
I'm just like, okay, now I'm not sure if that's certain Luciferians or something like that. If that's okay, yeah, it's the term biophoton used in a narrow sense should not be confused with the broader field of biophotonics. Oh, who would ever get that confused?
Oh man, what?
Which studies, hold on, what is it? Denotes a combination of biology and photonics. Okay, so it's something, living stuff, and studying with light. Yeah, I'm already confused.
Oh, interaction of light with biological.
Oh, it studies the interaction. See, I should have just read the extra sentence.
Yeah.
So let me just, okay, so there's a couple of numbers here we could always play with. Biological tissues produce and observed radiant emittance in the visible and ultraviolet frequencies, okay, ranging from incredibly small to redonkulously small watts per centimeter squared. So basically, your power over an area. Okay, so
it's very small, especially for human.
Yeah.
It's very small for mortals, because most of that is running the meat suit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got our skin. There's some energy and stuff here. So, okay. So what's interesting here is bioluminescence. The last time I had actually heard that was, let's go back. I think maybe it was superluminescence. Hold on. Let's do this.
There's some really pretty jellyfish that glow right before they glow when they're thinking about stinging you. You know that?
Oh.
They're pretty though.
That sounds like Godzilla.
Right?
They start to shine with that bio blue and stuff, and yes, it's a different day. You better step down.
You're about to get stung really bad.
Well, yeah, stung or vaporized by like, I don't know, a whole bunch of neutron blast or something like that. So who knows? All right, so that reminds me of kind of microtubules. It's something that Professor Penrose has conjectured, along with Stuart Hameroff, about perhaps this is why consciousness is a thing. So, because apparently when you undergo anesthesia, it basically shuts off the signals with the microtubules. So, at least from my personal experience, undergoing the knife, the anesthesiologist is like, I'm going to count backwards from 10. It's like 10, 9, 8, conked out, wake up several hours later, no memory of a dang thing, thankfully. But basically, if they're conjecturing that, okay, well, if those happen to go off and we can actually look at signals in the brain and stuff and see like there's no activity there, it's like, well, maybe this has to do with something, because I think it was in Professor Penrose's, he called it like the Emperor's New Mind. He even admitted, he's like, I was decided to write a book on consciousness, so he had the contract and stuff, and he's like, I didn't actually know what it was, so I figured I would make up something at the end, or at least figure it out. He's like, I didn't figure it out, so I just made up an ending, and then one person reached out that seemed to have very useful information, which was a younger Stuart Hameroff, who had worked as an anesthesiologist, and he's like, well, they're these very small things, and then Professor Penrose was like, oh, that must be it. But Michael Tubel's super radiance. Okay. So this was from last year. All right. So this was something that was interesting, that they conjectured that, and it's like, that seems like a crazy idea. There's no way that could be true. Some people started to look into it. And now this doesn't prove that microtubules lead to consciousness, but they observed something very interesting in at least tubulin itself, the building blocks of microtubules. It's basically that little stuff that forms all these little, and microtubules also happen to, it seem to exist within all living creatures and seem to be throughout nature, through all living things. I'm like, wait a second. Are microtubules like, I don't know, midichlorians? Are you calling them midichlorians? They're not midichlorians as far as I know. But it's interesting. Long story short is they saw super radiance. What the heck is that? Long story short is, you remember, if you're old enough like me and you kind of remember those old incandescent light bulbs, you turn it on, it turns on, and then if you flick it off, it's still going to be lit up for a little while as it cools down. It's basically something like that. So basically, when they stimulated these areas, they saw it like basically light up, and it stayed lit up for a while, and then the radiance seemed to go. And that was something that people weren't expecting. So it gets the old noggin a-jogging, but my strongest case, and again, I'm not a biologist or something here, the technical paper, blah, 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 a whole bunch of words, graphs, and stuff like that. But, okay, if we just go to microtubules, we'll keep it simple, because here's my simple pitch. What the heck is a microtubule? I don't know, but there's some information here. Okay. 1. All right. So as far as how wide they are, 23 to 27 nanometers. Well, halfway between that is 25. Okay, so let's go to our good friend Wolfram Alpha that Fizz may or may not be a future mascot for. Let's do 25 nanometers. Now you don't need to know what it is, you just literally just type in the thingy. So you get this number, about like 10 to the minus 8 meters. Redonkulously small. Okay. Now, why is this interesting? Because if we then just type the magical words, classical physics, and we just go to the general Wikipedia article. Okay. So as far as generally looking at physics and different stuff and things that seem to work within our realm, classical physics or mechanics, excuse me, basically, if you're talking about a speed, if you're talking about 10 to the 8, basically this is the speed of light. Okay. Once you get faster than that, you go to relativistic or general relativity stuff and things like that. Okay. But the interesting thing is, classical mechanics are systems far larger than about 10 to the minus 9. Okay. 10 to the minus 9, that last number we had, it's 10 to the minus 8. Huh. And actually, to be fair, if you went a little bit smaller, this is actually pretty close to 10 to the minus 9. So, So what you're saying is that things start to get quantum once you reach around the magnitude of a microtubule. How very interesting.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know if that's anything right there. It's just happening to be a physics monk, so to speak, that happens to be looking in and thinks that there's very interesting things that happen around that magnitude. I happened to notice when I saw some of that, went to Wikipedia, I'm like, wait, how big are those things? I'm like, how big is a nanometer again? I'm like, oh, this is right around the same area where things get weird. So,
I like that. The area when things get weird.
The thing is, you can have classical mechanics and stuff like that's something we can kind of wrap our heads around. It's like, what happens? It's like, all right, I lift this thing, it goes up. Oh my God! It's like that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if you hear
kind
some,
of the basics of how shit works.
it's when you start having some folks going around saying, listen, photons take all possible paths. They're going absolutely everywhere, and you're like, whoa. And then you're like, well, that doesn't make sense. I guess those folks are wizards. And then you have other folks like, shout out to Kurt J. Mungle from Theories of Everything with Kurt J. Mungle. He basically kind of like, he kind of put that to rest. He's like, that's not what happens at all. Because to my knowledge is, if you're talking about whatever, they call it like the Feynman path interval, what happens? It's like, well, you calculate all possible things this way, all possible things this way, yada, 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 the infinities will end up canceling out and you'll get a reasonable answer. And if that matches our observation, maybe it's useful. Now, that might be a useful tool, but it doesn't mean it's reality. And apparently it's looking like reality might actually make a lot more sense as we're getting more technology and other folks are like learning and looking at things. So that's what we got there. So let's see. What else we got? Oh, we got Jason. All right.
Hi.
Oh, we got Jason is saying, I think ours have relevance to a thought I have about death events and multiple reality. Well, see, the show is called Breaking the Multiverse. So again, it's a satirical show, and we're assuming that all the multiverse exists. And
But
other than when
this Jason dude gets it. We just gotta wait for science guy here to. The problem is there's just a couple things that are really hard to prove without dying. So
yeah.
And once you do that, you can't tell nobody if the theory was right.
That's
because you won't remember.
I've heard tales of some folks that technically had passed that happened to be brought back, and there's some interesting stories you hear about. Again, I can't validate any of that because I haven't had that experience. I've come close to biting the bucket, but I've been extremely lucky.
One is that still helps illustrate this, and it that the aura or the biophoton
bioluminescence.
Yeah, that stuff disappearing at death is a measurable discharge of energy from the body upon death.
Oh, but here's the thing, Fizz. If there was a discharge of energy from the body, that would mean that the mass would go down, because E equals mc squared, mass can be converted to energy, which coincidentally, I think it's called 21 grams. Okay, so now this is rampant speculation here. So hold on, 21 gram soul.
I'm just saying that's the light going out.
Okay, so it's okay. So
and it's very, very hard to measure.
Oh yeah, well that's the thing.
Almost insignificant if it weren't for the fact that when you get down to that small and you're trying to find something out, everything is significant. 21 grams, huh?
Yeah. So and again, they're saying it's from a pseudoscientific experiment. Okay. The long story short is, from what I remember talking with some folks about this, and again, I'm very skeptical because if it was done in like 1907, I'm like, all right, how precise were their measurements? But they say, allegedly it was commissioned by a church, basically trying to prove like that there was a soul or something. So they had somebody that was terminally ill. They're trying to measure all these things, and then according to the dude, that once this person passed, there was a notable change in how much they weighed. They said it was 21 grams. Again, how the heck they account for that, I don't know. That's why it's like, all I know is apparently that happened, and I'm like, all right, I think from what I heard is that freaked a lot of people out, and they're like, all right, let's not do this again. Allegedly, other people have done it.
This ain't it, man. This ain't it. The body doesn't really.
I mean, that sounds like a lot of mass. The amount of energy from 21 grams. Hold on, let's just do the conversion about why that doesn't necessarily make sense. Because if we did a whole 21 grams,
so tiny. It's barely. It's like it's not really even. It's not gonna. None of your instruments.
Okay, so 21 grams equals mc squared. Is 524 gigawatt hours. Okay, so about 20% the impact energy forming the meteor crater in Arizona. So if that much energy was lost, I don't think that dude man would have a lab or anything like that. So I call me skeptical, but
this is at death, human body stops producing and using energy. The existing energy dissipates into the environment, primarily as heat. That is the energy discharge I was describing.
Oh, I mean that makes sense just because it's going to cool off.
Yeah, but it's measurable, like right at death, like a little poof.
Yeah. We'll see. Allegedly, they were supposed to account for that, but I'm like, back 120-ish years ago, I'm like, how good were your instruments? So yeah, call me skeptical.
But if you don't have to dissipate, if you don't want to.
Really?
Really.
So.
You kind of have to have your shit together, though.
Oh, well, stay tuned next week while we try to get all our stuff and things in a line, and Fizz might tell us how we can transcend mortality, because she's never shared any secrets she wasn't supposed to before from the celestial realm.
It's not immortality, honestly, in the sense that any mortal is gonna understand. So to me, like, immortality is not mortal, which means the meat suit, the mortal parts don't stop working. That would be immortality. So if you dies, you dies. But that energy.
So you can't just put another quarter in, like Jack is saying.
No, unfortunately, that would be sweet though.
How about 2 quarters because of inflation?
Buy extra lives. It doesn't quite work like that, because you can't really bring memories with you very easily. They have to imprint hardcore into that energy and become part of that energy, and then that energy needs to find a body that can even see those memories.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah, it's just so tiny. But yeah, your energy doesn't just stop. It dissipates, sure. It gets reused.
Well, now we know. Fizz is saying there's a chance. And with that, Fizz, what do you got going on?
From people who just told us they can't know till they die. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, ultimately, you can measure a lot with the instruments, but you're not going to 100% know what's happened until, it's happening. You can only say what is measurements is what's happening on the outside. That is for you guys. Like, Celestials, sure, they know, but they're experiencing the entire universe way differently than mortals that need the suits in order to touch and feel, the world around them and stuff.
Oh my God, I'm just realizing what Jax is saying. We used to send them off with coins over their eyes. Oh my God! Connection to the greater video gamer reality.
Yeah.
So Fizz, you streaming a little bit later on the Twitch?
That is a cool theory. It ain't true, but it's cool. Yeah. I don't know what I'm streaming because I'm getting really bored in Minecraft.
Well, yeah, I always just get stuck in a hole. So those things happen. So we got Fizz's links in the doobly-doo in the chat if you want to go check out her roommate Piper. Piper's over there. She occasionally does some epic shows and some magic and some stuff and things. So feel free to check them out if that's your persuasion. And or check out Rick Week over at Tony Stark, aka the CEO for Rick Week that we had is also in the chat. Hold on, this one. Okay, Fizz, any parting words for the good folks?
Told you.
Well, with that done, no monster girls were heard in the making of this broadcast.
I'm broken. You broke me. Oh no. Oh dear. You guys? You guys!